All right, so grade 8, what I want you to do is I want to go over a few things for today's class that you guys need to know. So the first thing that I want everyone to do is to get out your Google SketchUp project outline. There's a couple things that I didn't talk about last class that I want to make sure that I talk about today. If you go to the last page, okay, so we already talked about some of the due dates, okay, so February 10th, Friday, February 10th is when this is due. Now, if we go to the last page, you'll see evaluation rubrics. So phase 1, this is the one that we're in right now. I want to go over this in detail because what I'm getting the impression is that some people, because they've never seen this program before, are getting overwhelmed with the fact that other people are extremely comfortable with the program. Now, you're not going to be judged differently from a beginner to an advanced person. What I want to see is that you're putting the time and effort. So someone that doesn't know anything about SketchUp puts in just as much time and effort as someone who really does. Sure, their projects might look extremely different, but they'll be graded the exact same. So, for example, house and property are drawn to scale. I've talked about this before. Nothing outrageous, okay? You want to make sure that you understand how big a house could be. So, for example, today, if the sub lets you, you can just go outside, walk around schoolhouse, see how big. Remember, you count your footsteps, okay? Roughly try to make one footstep equal to 1 foot, all right? And then when you go into your project, you'll have a general idea of how big a building can be. Okay, your project has well-planned additions, okay? That's, for example, Bailey put in a hockey rink because I know Bailey likes hockey. That is a well-planned addition, and it makes sense for him, all right? Student displayed creativity and the project has good flow. That is another open-ended, very creative portion of the rubric, okay? This is all about you guys. So this project should have good flow and be representative of what you are about, okay? Measurements are recorded correctly. I'm going to go over that in a little bit more detail, but if you look, that is worth 5 marks. And if you look at the last one, I cannot stress this enough. While working on the project, students used their time wisely and efficiently, i.e. did not have to be repeatedly reminded to stay on task. Now the sub will tell me, or write me a little note at the end of class, students worked great, students did not work great, which students did not work great. Now I know I don't have to do it too much with you guys, but I feel that this is something that I put in just to alleviate me having to keep you guys on task yourselves, okay? You guys should be able to do it yourself. All right, that's enough about the rubric. What I want to go over is just a few things. So I'm going to touch base with the measurements. Now, the first thing that you should have in your measurements organizer is the size of your property. Now, if you look, my person is down here. You can see that this property is quite substantial, okay? It's a big chunk of land. It's 250 feet by 250 feet. So if I go in to my measurements organizer, that's the first thing that I'm put in. Property. Everyone should have this in. Length, 250 feet, and width, 250 feet. And then, because there's no volume, there's only going to be area, okay? It's 62,000, so there's no height, obviously. 62,500 feet, okay? There's no volume. Now, some items, like your house, for example, will have an area, and I'm going to go over that, an area, and it will also have a volume. So let's go back to our drawing. Now, there was a little discussion, especially yesterday, or Wednesday rather, about how to make second floors. Now, I'm going to go over that extremely quick with you guys, so I'm just going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to start drawing my house. I'm going to look down the right hand. This is 122 feet by 111 feet, a little bit big. So let's go, I don't know, 93 by 77. It's still pretty big, but that's fine. I'm rich, especially when I'm in Google SketchUp. And what you're going to do is you're going to select the rectangle again, and I'm going to draw another rectangle inside of this. Just like that. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to show you guys a few things. Now, I'm going to select the arrow or the select tool. I'm going to select this whole outside, the whole rectangle inside, okay, enclosed in the two drawings of the rectangle, and I'm going to select my elevation tool, and I'm going to raise that up. All right. Now, quick and easy way to get a second floor. All right. So, actually, you know what? The first thing that I want to do is I want to draw a couple walls in. So I'm just going to select my pencil, and I'm just going to draw a few walls, and I'm just going to draw one wall. You can draw as many as you want. The process will be the same after I show you how to elevate it. But what you have to do is you have to select that little piece in here. All right, you got to select that little piece, and you have to delete it, so that when you go to raise up the walls, the whole thing is like, if that little piece is still there, that wall will not raise. All right, let me zoom out. All right, so now what I have to do is I want to draw my second floor. So I pretty much just draw it in. I go here, and then I'm going to rotate over. Okay, that didn't work. So I'm just going to select my pencil again, start drawing. Here to here, and then rotate, and then pencil again, and go here to the other wall, and then rotate. All right, pencil again, here to the other wall, and then rotate. All right. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just drawing all the way around, but that red line is telling me that I have straight lines, okay? And you want them to be straight. Rotate around again, grab the pencil. All right. Red or green means straight. You saw that time it was green. And draw it again. Okay. Rotate, select the pencil, draw it again. Okay, rotate. And you can see eventually you're going to get extremely comfortable with all these tools, these rotating tools and drawing tools. And once you draw all the way around and you connect that last line, lo and behold, there's your second wall. Now obviously your second floor, you want it a little higher, so you're going to go, all right, select that again, draw it up. Now you should be measuring. Let's see how high of a wall I have. So I select my measuring tape, I go down to the bottom, and then I go up to the top, and it's 18 feet. Now that's a little extreme, that's a bit too high, all right? So I'm going to go, and I want, I don't know, 10 feet, all right? So I put it down a bit. Let's see how high that is. I select it. That's 13 feet. It's still a little too high, but for the sake of what I'm trying to accomplish right now, I'm just going to leave it at 13 feet. Now you want to put your roof on, so you're just going to, do that. All right. So once you start drawing, so I'll show you again. Okay. Once you select your pencil and you start drawing around the top here, just the exact same way you started drawing that floor in, once you select a corner and then go to the other corner, it's going to know what you're trying to do, and once you hit it, it will immediately go right back to a complete roof. Now obviously you don't want to do that until you put some furniture in here, and even if you're, so for example, so just to wrap up, that's how you do the layered floors, okay? That's the easiest way. That's not using the actual layers, okay? Now, by layers I mean this thing up here, okay? It's not using this. It's a simple way. Now, when you put the roof on, all right, so say we're going to draw a roof on just like I showed you, okay? There's our roof. Now we want to hold down our curl key. We want to select all these inside lines. Oh, don't want to select that. All right, So this might take a bit. All right, select all these inside lines, delete them. And now what you can do is you rotate around, all right? Now this is just a box. Inside, we know we have our 2 floors. So you're going to have to, you're going to have to put in your door, and you know how to do then that, and put in a window, and put in a window. And before you close this up, so for example, if I rotate up, before you close this up, okay, you should actually, even before you put that second floor in, your first floor should be absolutely completed, okay? You should have your kitchen in there, you should have your living room in there, wherever you want to put in your first floor, that should all be completed by the time you put that second floor in. And the same is true, by the time you put that roof on, or you're ready to put that roof on, you should have this second floor all decked out in what you want, okay? So for today's class, phase 1, day 1, this is your goal. Your goal is to have your house completed, all right? Now, a few people said, can I make a complete town, or can I make a village? Absolutely. But you must focus in that town on one house, one singular house. And the same is true. If you're finding that you're not having, if the 250 by 250 is not enough space, okay, that is the minimum, okay? That is the minimum for your property. If you want to go abstract and you want to create a whole village, by all means, I will not limit you, okay? But you must focus on one house and develop it inside and out. Now, the major thing, keep in mind, this is a math project, okay? This is all geometry based. However, the measurements are crucial. So we're going to go to our measuring tape, which is extremely important. I'm going to measure the width of my house, which is 77 feet. So I'm going to go into my measurement organizer. I'm going to type width. It's 77 feet. And the item is my house. And I'm going to go length. So I'm going to go back to my project, my length. I'm going to rotate around, still using my measuring tool. So select my measuring tool, select the edge, and go over, and my length is 93 feet. Okay? 93 feet, so I'm going to go back into my measuring organizer, 93 feet, and 93 times 77 equals. My complete area is 7,161. Now, these are square feet, okay? Square feet, because we're dealing with area, all right? Now, just like I said, as I said for the property, we're not going to have a volume because you're not a three-dimensional property. You're not going to own the air, all right? So, I go into my project and I measure my height. This is the last thing I do. And it's 27 feet, so go into my measurement organizer, 27 feet. And so my volume is just going to be, I'm going to multiply that number by 27, 347 cubic feet. All right, now if you find that these boxes are getting extremely big, if you're putting in cubic feet, I don't mind that you take out the units, okay, for the rest of them, but for the first one, I want them in because it shows me that you understand that the difference between cubic feet and square feet. Okay, so that's your goal for today. So you want to develop, especially if you want to have more than one floor. Hopefully most everybody will have at least 2 floors, okay? You can put in walls. If you have any questions, if you get confused, if you want to know how to do something a little bit more entertaining, use YouTube, use Google, do research, ask people that are very knowledgeable with this program, okay? Don't just sit there and try to figure it out on your own, all right? So, as I try to pause this recording,